This video is on circles, and in this unit we've been looking at areas and perimeters. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the formulas for those in a circle. By definition, a perimeter is the sum of all the sides of a polygon. A circle isn't a polygon. A circle doesn't have sides. So the distance around a circle is called the circumference. So we don't talk about the perimeter of a circle, we talk about the circumference. We use C for circumference, and the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Most of you should have at least heard about pi before. Pi is an irrational number, which means it cannot be written as a fraction, and as a decimal, it continues without end and without repeating. R is the radius of the circle. By definition, the radius of a circle is the distance from the center to the circle. So that's your radius. And while I have this nice diagram here, let's also look at the diameter of a circle. Is the distance from one side of the circle to the other going through the center. And the diameter is equal to 2 times the radius, because the radius starts at the center. It's the same distance to any point on the circle. The area of a circle is pi r squared, which means you take the radius and you square it and multiply it times pi. In this unit, I am going to ask everyone to use 3.14 for pi. Now, that's not what pi is equal to, but it's an estimate to the nearest hundredth. I know that many of you that have Texas Instrument calculators, especially the graphing calculators, you have a pi key on the calculator. However, your answers will vary depending on how many places you carry pi out to. So to make it easier for me when I'm grading your papers, use 3.14 when you substitute for pi. And for most problems, unless it's stated otherwise, I'm going to ask you to round answers to the nearest hundredth. Which is 2 decimal places. Pi, if you keep going, is 1/6, and it keeps going. So if you round that to the nearest hundredth, that would keep it as a 4. So that's what we're going to use for pi. Okay, let's look at some example problems. The first one, I'm going to use a figure that is a rectangle and it has half a circle on top of it. And This isn't drawn to scale, but that's okay. Now, the first thing I'm going to ask you to find here is what we still will call the perimeter. But again, we have a polygon, a rectangle here, and a half a circle. So actually the perimeter is going to be made up of 3 sides of the rectangle and half the circumference of the circle. So to find the circumference of the circle that we need, it's only half a circle, so we're going to take half of it, and that would be 1/2 times 2 pi r. Well, 1/2 times 2 is 1. So that divides out. Pi is 3.14, and r is the radius. Well, that's not given. What is that radius? Well, actually, the diameter is given. The diameter goes all the way across. So that's 5. That means the radius is half of that, or 2.5. So when you add that here to the formula, we have pi times the radius, which is 2.5. And if you put that in your calculator, you should end up with 0.85. Notice we put pi in the calculator is 3.14. Then to find the perimeter of the rectangle, we're not using that top edge because that is not on the outside. So as we do this, the perimeter is simply the base. We only have one base, but we have 2 times the height. The base is 5 and the height's 4, so 2 of those is 8. That gives us 13. Now, if we add the circumference of the semicircle added to the 3 sides, or the perimeter of the rectangle, we end up with 20.85. And that would be in feet. Okay, let's find the area of this figure. Okay, to find the area of the top, which is a circle, but it's only half a circle. So whatever the area is, we're going to multiply it by 1/2. And the area is pi times r squared, and r was 2.5. If we put that in our calculator, we should get 9.81. And then we need to find the area of the rectangle. Now, unlike when we were finding the perimeter, we're still finding the area of the entire rectangle. So we multiply 5 times 4, which is 20. So to get the total area, we simply add the area of the circle or the semicircle to the area of the rectangle, and that will give us 29.81 Don't forget your units. Area is always in square units. So that's feet squared. So that's how you find the circumference and the area of a circle. And with our example, we even had something a little more complicated than just a circle because we added a rectangle on the bottom of it.